Welcome back to the Jackson Neill Sports Podcast on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, or YouTube, wherever you're tuning in. Thank you for listening in today. And today I want to jump right into it, talking a little bit about the NFL and an issue that's been going on for quite some time now. There's been very contentious between these two sides, and it's something that I just really want to deliver my opinion on, and that is the Terrell Owens in the Hall of Fame situation. Where, if you're not familiar, Terrell Owens, the now Hall of Fame wide receiver, was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, but he was not very happy that it took him more than one try. He wanted to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So in response, he decided that he would not attend the Hall of Fame ceremony, and instead he would hold his own event at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, the place where he went to college, hold his own event, speak there with friends and family, and invite fans to attend, and all of that good stuff at that place, instead of going to the Hall of Fame ceremony. Then, in response, recently the Hall of Fame said, okay, you'll do that. Well, we're not really going to mention you at all during the ceremony. We're just going to we're going to give you your bust and everything. You'll be part of the Hall of Fame, but as part of this induction, it'd almost be like you're not even getting inducted. And seeing back from both of these sides, seeing what's going on, it just feels like this complete issue that never really needed to be one. But at the end of the day, it's Terrell Owens, so are you really that surprised that it became an issue? That something as simple as a Hall of Fame induction became an issue with Terrell Owens? I mean, knowing his career, it's not all that surprising. But looking at this from both sides, I can easily find fault in both the NFL Hall of Fame as well as Terrell Owens, because both of those sides did not handle this in the best way possible. First off, with Terrell Owens deciding to go all over to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, while I respect that decision, I mean, he said it's one of the biggest moments of his life. He wants to spend it with his friends, his family, his fans, all of that. I completely understand that. However, does it really need to be the same day? I mean, the induction ceremony is in Canton, Ohio, and you're talking about the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. It could have easily been the next day. Take a quick plane ride. Take something. But you could have scheduled it maybe around one of their games. I mean, I think that would have been pretty cool. How about one of the Saturdays that they have a home game this season? You get to go down there, deliver another speech about the Hall of Fame and everything, and have that surround the rivalry week for them at their home or their homecoming game or something along that nature. I think that would have been a really cool opportunity for him, is to have that be a weekend around him as well, and include that with the game festivities and go to the game, maybe out at halftime. I think that would have been a really awesome way to celebrate it. So this whole idea that it has to be on the same day just doesn't make much sense to me. There could have been an easy way around it. And that kind of points back to the fact that he's almost painting this as, oh, he wants to get back at the Hall of Fame for not getting him on the first ballot, and he, as he's kind of said and hinted at, he's standing up for everybody, all the other players who were deserving to get in on the first ballot, but did not have the chance to. And while, yes, Terrell Owens should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, I think he's basically only second to Jerry Rice in most wide receiver statistical categories. That's incredible. That's Hall of Fame. That's clear Hall of Fame worthiness. Now, his character, some off the field antics, a little bit of that might have held him out. But the whole idea that he's standing up for everyone else, to me, that seems pretty unfounded. I have not heard really any other players come out who are first ballot Hall of Famers, we all thought, and didn't make it. I haven't really heard any of them come out and say, thank you so much to Terrell Owens. This really means a lot to me for standing up for this. I don't really think that's the case. And it's also the idea that whether you're a first ballot or you're a sixth ballot, you're still a Hall of Famer. And to just be petty over whether it was a first or second ballot or third ballot, it's one of those things where sometimes, I will admit, politics get involved, and maybe Terrell Owens didn't get in on the first ballot because somebody who was deserving was on their, their final bout and needed to get in that year, so they cut off Terrell Owens for another year. There's always little stuff like that might not even be a personal issue. Just might be because they had this set of players who needed to go in at this time, or else they would have all been expired. And T.O. just did not have the chance that year. But they said, hey, you know what? We'll get him on the second, or we'll get him on another try. He'll definitely be in. It could have been as simple as that. And also with the Hall of Fame, he could have been like 3 votes short. It doesn't have to be this huge, giant group of people saying, nope, we don't want T.O. in the Hall of Fame. It could have just been a couple people. It could have been 1. And that's the thing, is that would you really have this much of an issue just because a couple people possibly said they wanted you to be on not your first ballot, but still eventually elect you in the Hall of Fame? For me, that just doesn't seem like it makes any sense. And also that it has to be the same exact day. The Hall of Fame induction is only something you're going to be a part of once in your life. And I've never been, but from what I've heard from everyone who's been around that kind of weekend, everything they do, it's just this incredible opportunity to be recognized by everyone from in pro football, just the game in general, that you are one of the greatest to ever play it. And I don't understand why anyone would want to take that away from themselves just because a couple people said no, you have to be on a different ballot than your first one. As for the Hall of Fame, for me, I also find fault in their actions. Because just because T.O. is acting exactly like we should, at this point we should expect T.O. to be always causing a stir no matter what. Just because he's doing that does not mean the Hall of Fame has to stick one right back at him. Don't make the Hall of Fame could just as easily say, we're not going to, if he doesn't want to be a part of here, we're not going to, don't make it a huge big deal like, oh, we're not going to represent him. He doesn't want to do that. Here's our backstab jab at him. You don't have to have some petty response. You can just still go about your business and say, when it comes time to that day in Canton, just say, unfortunately, Terrell Owens is not here with us today. He is having his own celebration with his friends and family at University of Tennessee Chattanooga. We would like to induct him to the Hall of Fame. I think they play a highlight reel, maybe some, whatever they do for everyone else, minus Terrell Owens making his own appearance. Have that, because it just seems petty. It just seems like an unnecessary response, an unnecessary jab to get back at him and have the quote unquote final word against T.O. It's just this whole situation that from both sides seems unnecessary and just it could have been easily avoided. But then again, this is Terrell Owens we're talking about. Even once he's retired, Stoma always making headlines. And with that, that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Jackson Neill Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can catch this on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, or YouTube. Subscribe to whatever feed you like the most. Also, check down or around wherever the description is on whatever platform you are using. There you can find links to my Twitter and Instagram, at JacksonNeill20. Find links to everything I work on, my thoughts, but snippets of interviews I do, and a bunch of other additional content. Also, the Jackson Neill Sports Podcast and the Jackson Neill Music Podcast are on the same exact feed. So, basically on alternating days, they get released. It's about 5 days a week or so. Check back here for the podcast feed, and you'll find a new one up to date. Also in the same exact feed is my Anything Goes with Jackson Neill podcast as part of the radio show on 107.9 FM, where I interview awesome musicians. No episode this week, but coming back next week strong. Have a couple really, really cool ones in the works, so stay tuned for all that. You can check out my Twitter and Instagram for updates as to when the next episode and podcast will be up. So thank you so much for listening. I'll see you all next time.